Well, hi there. It's Robin Norgren. You are following me because I am an empty nester trying to get out of the teaching profession. And if you've been following along, I came to a realization that I can't just jump out of teaching. And so what I have started doing is I've started putting out my resume again as if I am a proper teacher candidate. But I've been thinking about some things about what I don't want in the next teaching job. And so here's my list of things that I do not want to do again in teaching. I should tell you my credentials. I am trained as a Montessori teacher, both AMI and AMS. I'm self-taught as an art educator for K through fifth grade, meaning that I take all the courses and all of the things, but can't seem to sit down and take the test. So there's that. But I always show proper respect that I don't go into environments where, I am above my pay grade, if you will. Like, I know that I should be going through the paces to get all of the credentials, and I don't have them. But I do offer my services to places like community centers and after-school programs and homeschool co-ops where they don't have any access really to that type of education, but they want something kind of nice and, just good for their kids, to have this form of creativity, right? So that's usually who I work with, as well as doing classes online. And then also I have done charter school teaching. So I've done it as a kindergarten teacher and I've done it as a third grade teacher. So I invite the babes in and show them how to be a part of an educational experience, which means, how to sit in a classroom, how to be in a group, how to turn in homework, because of the particular charter schools I've been in, homework has been a part of the process for kindergarten. And then for third grade, I, in real time, got to see what happens when we're not tracking properly what teachers are doing in the classroom. And what I mean by that is having the curriculum, but just plain not teaching the curriculum. And then we get to third grade and those kids have to take these tests and they're not ready for the tests. And why aren't they ready for the tests? And why, as I'm speaking to them, for example, in Eureka Math, they don't know any of the concepts, which I know from what do you say? Newsflash. I know they've known it since kindergarten because I've taught the same curriculum. So I knew in kindergarten they were building, it was a wonderful foundation for what I was saying in third grade. And yet I was looking at a sea of children who seemed to not have heard any of these concepts before. So I've been a part of seeing some shenanigans for real. And teachers' jobs weren't getting taken away because, teacher shortage. So I say all that to say, sorry, my hair is bothering me today. But I say all that to say is, so here I am, like these are the things that were such stressors, and then going into an environment of a school and then finding out it really was just a business with the word school, not even school. What did they say? It was not called school. It was not called school, but parents come into that type of environment and they're thinking school. They're thinking they will know how to read. They're thinking they will have a sense of how to do math and all of those things. That's what parents are thinking. Even when they're saying, oh, I want this alternative experience, they don't want illiterate children, right? Okay, sorry. Off the soapbox. So as I went looking for jobs this time, I was like, well, perhaps I can go back to the preschool level. Now, mind you, I think even in preschool, and I do know because I am a diehard Montessori fan, I do know children can learn very, very early without even having pressure. Like they just have a mind that is absorbed her book, The Absorbent Mind, talks all about these, the developmental planes of learning, and that the ages of 3 to 6 are a beautiful time where children are just absorbing things like sponges. You hear people say that, like sponges. What I kind of like get upset about is that we're saying absorbing like sponges, but we're giving them such information that is like, all right, they know that. Let me give you an example. We're always practicing the colors of the rainbow. You guys, they picked that up at like 3.5, 4. We can go a little bit further, and it's not called pressuring them. Okay, so see, I'm telling you, I'm an educator at heart. And I just, I don't want to come across as like I don't love to be an educator, because I absolutely do. But we've got to find this balance, you guys, of like not cheering for things that children of course have known because they've been hearing about them since they were like babes, like 2, 3 years old, and actually give them a challenge where their brain can start to really expand and grow and all this kind of stuff, right? Because the brain wants it. The brain wants it. So anyway, so I said, okay, well, I want to really dig into the educational process that you're looking at. Are you connected with whatever the feeder school is? So if you're only going up to, let's say, preschool, and then they go off to someone else's kindergarten, are you connected with those schools in the area so that you really know that you are preparing those learners to go out into those environments and not feel so far behind, right? So there's that. Is there a co-teaching environment? I love myself a co-teacher environment. So I've had, of course, in Montessori, you always have an assistant. We call them co-teachers as the lead teacher in there, because you could not do what it is that you can do in a Montessori classroom without having another adult in there. You just can't do it, which is why that is such a vibrant classroom environment, because you have someone there that while you're giving a lesson or talking with a small group, there's another person in the room that is paying attention to what's going on in the room, because children do need to be supervised, right? And so yeah, I was like, okay, it has to be a co-teaching experience. You have to have a connection with whatever the feeder school is. The other thing is, if we are seeing very early on that there perhaps might be something to take notice of with a child, whether it be being on the autism spectrum, being developmentally behind, either physically, mentally, or emotionally, that you have a team that comes in and observes and then is part of the conversation with parents. A note to parents: it's not shameful. Do you not understand? And I'm saying this in kindness and love. The quicker we pick it up, we pick up on it, the more beneficial it is for your child to be able to get the tools in place to maybe even radically change the trajectory of where they're going to be in their lives. But if we want to spend 2, 3, 4, 5 years trying to convince you that something might be going differently for your child than for other children. Because let me see, when you get groups and groups of children year after year after year, I'm so sorry, we're going to be able to pick up when something's a little bit different. And so I think that was the biggest heartbreak for me, is to have taken the time, the energy, the effort to continuously, like, I didn't just get a certification and I just stopped reading and stopped engaging with other teachers and what their experiences are. This has been a vibrant career for me. I am constantly growing. That teacher that I was the first year, I am not that same teacher. And so when I'm putting in that much time to make sure I understand the climate of our classroom experience, parents, you have to know that that is done for the love and care of your children, right? Okay, so these are the things I'm looking for. Co-teaching experience, a feeder school conversation, experts on staff, because I am not an expert when it comes to these things, but I can notice things. And then finally, a true and honest observation experience where you are collaborating with your colleagues. Is this too hard to find, you guys? I don't think so. So I am excited to tell you that I have 2 job interviews where this is very much like, it's even on the website, and I have already toured one of them, seeing it in action. Didn't have to ask them questions. They gave those points to me, like the talking with the feeder schools and having trained staff or trained professionals that are on call, that do observations when we notice that there might be something that is going on with a child. They gave that information to me as selling points. Okay, now we're getting somewhere, right? And so I say all that to say is I'm very excited, like more excited. Isn't that interesting though? This is what's interesting about life. My first couple of episodes, like, absolutely, there is no way I'm going to do it. And then the interruption, okay, lady, slow your roll. I know you're upset, you're hurt, you're frustrated, you're all of those things, but what if? And how about this? And remember what your goal is in your personal life with your husband. So that being said, to be able to like turn the lens and see something different and then have it presented to me. This is where I go back to. I'm such a firm believer that, some people might say that the universe is conspiring to help you. I do know that there are people who don't have, their brain doesn't work that way. They're very much in worst case scenarios. So I want to honor and respect that. But if there's a way to find the balance of like, what if, without going to the highs of highs or the lows of lows, it serves us well in our lives. As a 56-year-old woman at this the time of this taping, I can honestly say that the more I didn't get so desiring to have the constant high, and really use that high and kind of brought it into like, well, let's kind of distribute that high. Let's make it just like, this is the way of life, rather than just like searching for the high. And then like when you're low, like just wanting to go that high. Like I have learned, I don't necessarily want to be that high. I want to be here. I want to be here. All right. So my next video, I will tell you about these job opportunities and hopefully give you some good news. Make sure, like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much for coming by. I have this series, and I'm going to have a series of Draw With Me, based on what I've been doing in my time on my own. So I would love for you to join me on that. And a new thing that I'm going to be doing, I will roll out in the next video.